All right, hello everyone. Today I am going to do a quick demo of the Fulldrive 1 from Fulltone. If you have seen anything about this channel or watched any of the videos that I put out, you know that I'm a huge fan of the Fulldrive 2 MOSFET by Fulltone. I think it is a great pedal for sort of the lower end of the price point. I think it does an excellent job. You can find them used all over the country, pretty much in every Guitar Center or something like that. And they're pretty much indestructible. They sound really, really good, sit well in the mix. So I actually purchased this maybe about 2 months or so ago from Fulltone. They're having a wonderful sale. I got this straight from them, less than $100, which is a pretty phenomenal deal. This pedal actually has kicked off my King of Tone from the board currently, and really, really loving how it's sounding, especially in the mix. So right now my overdrive section of my board is simply the Ceriatone Centura into the Fulldrive 1 by Fulltone. So it's really simple pedal, really easy to use. Basically 3 knobs: volume, tone, and overdrive from left to right. And then it has a toggle with 3 modes. You have flat mids, vintage, and comp cut. So the comp cut mode removes the diodes from the circuit, from the clipping circuit, and a lot of people use this sort of as a clean boost. You get a huge amount of volume jump with that. So you'll see when we get there that I'll turn the volume down, probably maybe half the dial, because that's how much output you get. The vintage mode is a simple, sort of Tubescreamer sort of based voicing. You get the really nice mid push, which sounds really good on Vox Style or Fender style amps, and that's the sort of style that I play live. So that's the setting that I use mostly. The last setting is the flat mids, so that kind of removes some of the very pronounced mid push. You still get a little bit of it there, but this was the mode that I used it on whenever I was playing Vox Style amps, simply because a Vox Style amp with a mid push in the circuit, and then you stack a mid-push pedal on top of that. It's a lot of mids, which can get a little wonky when you're playing live. So, yeah, I'm just going to run through some of the sounds. And right now I have a little bit of reverb on from the Boss RV6, and I'm going to be using the Boss DD20 for delay. And, this is my clean tone. And this is the pedal engaged with pretty much all the knobs set at noon. Here's some delay engaged. And the bridge pickup. So that right there is pretty much one of the huge reasons why I have this pedal on my board, because usually when I go to the bridge pickup on a Strat, it sounds very thin. You can't really use it live without it really kind of disappearing from the mix. getting some weird sounds unless you have a really good sound engineer. So this pedal allows me to use the bridge pickup of my Strat Live. It adds that mid push, really adds a lot of definition, clarity, sustain, and full presence to the bridge pickup. So I find myself going to that a lot more whenever I use this pedal live. Let us crank the overdrive a little bit more, and I'll show you that maybe this is not the best setting for using in a church setting, but still sounds really, really good. And some delay. So yeah, that is with the overdrive at about 3 o'clock. I'm going to push the overdrive or bring it down back to about maybe around 9, and you can see kind of how it does with more sort of a cleaner sound, and we can see how it cleans up with the volume knob. And the volume knob is now going to about 8 on my Strat. Still can get kind of jangly, so that might be nice for like a verse part if you're starting a song. And then you bring it up. All right, now I'm going to slam the front end with my Ceriatone Centura. Basically, the volume's at unity, tones at noon, gain is barely on. So here's what that sounds like. Some delay. So all of that was with the pedal in the flat mids section. I am now going to flip it to the vintage, and you'll be able to hear a little bit of the difference. Move the overdrive back to about 9 o'clock, and that's what this sounds like. Let's add some delay. Bridge pickup. Yeah, so really like that. Sounds good. Let us crank the overdrive a little bit more. It's at about 3 o'clock. That's what this sounds like. Yeah, so that is the vintage mode. I'll turn the overdrive down to about 9 o'clock. And there we go. I'm going to clean it up a little bit with the volume knob. Volume up. I'm going to hit the front with the Ceriatone. All right, now quickly we are going to go to the comp cut mode. You'll be able to tell that I'm going to turn the volume down because it's going to get kind of loud. All right, here we go. Hear that it stays a lot cleaner. There's not a whole lot of overdrive. I'm going to turn the overdrive up to about noon. I realized I forgot to do that. With some delay. Yeah, so stays a lot cleaner. Let's turn the overdrive up. So yeah, if you run your amp a lot more overdriven, that would be a perfect sort of lead, clean boost to kind of push it into the next sort of stage. But yeah, I don't really use that very much. Maybe if I, when I'm recording at home, that's a really good setting. I think if you have a solo that needs to pop or you need a part to kind of stick out in the mix, usually I'll use the, clone for that. But if I need a little extra something, I can use that. Let's go to sort of what I use, my usual setting, and I'll stack it with the Ceriatone Centura. So here we go. So usually I'll use it. I'll hit the Centura first. And then, if we're doing a like maybe something like Holy Ground. So yeah, that's something that I'll use it for. Maybe even on a bridge, like maybe something like Build My Life. I'll start with maybe something like. And then as it gets going, more into that sort of progression.